Hey everyone, ready to dive into something pretty cool? We're talking AI and job applications today.
Ooh, that's my jam.
Yeah, we found this tool on GitHub. It's called Auto Jobs Applier AI Hawk, AI Hawk for short. And it claims it can automate your entire job search.
Sounds promising.
Yeah, and it uses AI to personalize everything. So we're going to see if it lives up to the hype. Can this thing actually help you land a job faster? Big questions.
Well, I can definitely tell you, as someone who's been, really digging into how tech is changing the way we work, tools like this are, they're super interesting to me.
So what can AI Hawk do? Break it down for us.
Well, you know how overwhelming those job boards can be. It's like a million listings and you're just scrolling forever.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Right. So AI Hawk actually scans those listings for you and it filters them based on what you're looking for.
Okay, so it saves you time right off the bat.
Right.
But there's more to it than that, right? What about that personalization thing?
That's where things get really interesting.
I'm all ears.
So, picture this. It analyzes a company's culture, and then it tailors your responses to their questions. So you're speaking their language.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like reading the company's vibe.
Basically, yeah. It figures out what they want in a candidate, and then make sure you're putting your best foot forward.
It's kind of wild.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. It can actually handle the whole application process.
What, really?
Yeah, it fills out the forms, attaches your resume, all that.
I'm starting to see why we're doing a deep dive on this. But how does it personalize stuff?
Good question. So they use this thing called dynamic response generation. It basically means the AI analyzes the job posting and the company's website, too, to figure out their values and what kind of person they want. Then it uses that info to craft your answers.
So it's not just throwing in keywords. It's actually understanding what they want.
Yeah, exactly. It's about going beyond just matching keywords. AI Hawk can process info like a human, well, almost, so it can make your answers sound natural and engaging.
This is seriously impressive. Okay, so I'm sold on the concept, but what about actually using it? Is it user-friendly?
They've actually made it pretty easy, even if you're not, a tech expert or anything. Once you set up these things called configuration files, you're good to go.
Configuration files?
Yeah, don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. They're just YAML files.
YAML.
YAML. It stands for YAML ain't markup language. They basically store your info and preferences.
Like my resume and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how many of these files are we talking about?
There are a few key ones. You've got secrets.yaml, which is for, sensitive stuff.
Oh, like passwords and API keys?
Right, stuff you don't want just anyone to see. Then there's config.yaml, which is for your job search preferences.
Okay, so that's where I tell what kind of job I want.
Exactly.
Wait,
and then there's the plaintextresume.yaml file. That's where you put all your resume info.
So it pulls from that to make my application?
Yep. It takes everything from those files and
Well,
it basically takes care of the rest.
I mean, I'm still going to review everything before I hit send, right?
Oh, absolutely. But it does 90% of the work for you.
Okay, this is all sounding really amazing, but is it even ethical to use something like this for job applications?
That's a really good question. I mean, like any tool, it depends how you use it, right?
Right.
The creators of AI Hawk, they really emphasize responsible use.
So no spamming companies with generic applications?
Definitely not. You still got to play by the rules, like the terms of service of those job sites. And remember, AI Hawk is meant to help you, not completely replace you.
Yeah, networking and all that is still important. So AI Hawk is not a magic bullet, but it could be a pretty powerful tool.
Yeah, it's definitely a game changer.
Okay, so let's dig into those YAML files a bit more. What are they all about?
So YAML files, they're just a way to store info in a way that's easy to read, like for both humans and computers.
Okay, so it's not code or anything.
Not really. It uses indentation and simple syntax, so it's pretty straightforward.
So like a digital recipe card for AI Hawk.
I like that analogy. Yeah, tells AI Hawk what ingredients to use.
Awesome. So we've got our secrets, our job preferences, and our resume all organized. How does AI Hawk take all that and turn it into actual applications?
That's where the magic happens, and it uses a bunch of different techniques. Things like web scraping, natural language processing, and even machine learning.
Whoa, that sounds intense.
It is, but the cool thing is you don't need to understand all that to use it.
So AI Hawk is like this black box that takes my info and makes amazing applications.
Kinda, yeah. But you still have control, you know? You can tweak the settings, adjust your preferences, and even edit the applications before you send them.
That's good. I was worried it would feel like giving up control.
No, not at all. AI Hawk is more like your partner in this whole job search thing. It's about, like, freeing you up to focus on the human stuff.
Okay, I'm liking AI Hawk more and more.
Right. It's about using AI to your advantage.
All right, so let's break down how to use this thing step by step.
Okay, so first things first, you got to set up those YAML files. That's where you give AI Hawk all the info it needs.
Like my contact details, what kind of job I want,
Mm-hmm.
and my work history, all that.
Yep, all that good stuff.
The more info I give it, the better it works.
Exactly. The more AI Hawk knows, the better it can personalize your applications.
Gotcha. So once those files are set up, what's next?
Then you just launch the tool and let it do its thing.
Easy peasy.
It'll connect to those job platforms, like LinkedIn and Indeed.
So it can work with different websites.
Oh, yeah. It's not limited to just one.
Awesome.
And then it starts scanning those job postings, filtering based on what you told it.
So no more endless scrolling.
Nope. AI Hawk's got you covered.
Yeah.
And here's the best part. Once it finds a match, it automatically generates a personalized application.
Whoa, hold on. So it writes the cover letter and everything.
It does. It uses all that info you gave it, plus what it learns about the company and the specific job, to create a unique application that's going to help you stand out.
Okay, that's amazing. But be honest. Can AI really write a cover letter as good as a human?
That's a good question. And, AI's come a long way. But it's still a tool. It's not about replacing humans completely.
So it's more like giving us a superpowered writing assistant.
Exactly. It can help you generate ideas, write drafts, all that. But you should always review and add your own touch.
I like that. So it's about combining the best of both worlds.
Yeah, human creativity and AI efficiency.
Makes sense. Okay, this is all incredibly impressive, but let's be real. There's got to be some downsides, right? Like, is it ethical to use a tool like this?
That's a valid concern. And it comes down to responsible use.
What do you mean?
Well, the creators of AI Hawk, they're big on following the rules, like respecting the terms of service of the job sites and not trying to, game the system or anything.
Okay, so it's about using AI Hawk ethically.
Exactly. AI Hawk's a tool to help you, not to replace all the human stuff.
Right, networking and building relationships is still important. So AI Hawk's not a magic bullet, but it can be a powerful ally in the job search.
I think that's a great way to put it.
All right, I'm definitely intrigued by AI Hawk, and I can't wait to learn more about how to use it. But first, I think we need to talk about those potential downsides. Is it really okay to use a tool like this?
Yeah, let's address that. I mean, like we said, AI Hawk itself is just a tool, right? It's how you use it that matters.
Right.
The people behind AI Hawk, they really stress that.
So what kind of things should we be careful about?
Well, first off, you got to understand the rules of the game, like the terms of service on those job platforms.
I guess stay on the right side of those.
Exactly. And you got to remember, AI Hawk's supposed to help you, not do everything for you.
Yeah, it's not about replacing the human element entirely.
Right. Networking, showcasing your skills, all that stuff is still crucial.
Okay, so AI Hawk is not a shortcut, but it can make the journey a lot smoother.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
I like that. So AI Hawk can be a valuable tool for navigating the modern job market.
Absolutely. And it's a great example of how AI can actually empower job seekers.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm ready to dive into the nitty-gritty of how to use this thing. But before we do that, maybe we should unpack those YAML files a bit more. Can you give us a little more detail on those?
Sure. A YAML file, it's basically just a way to store information in a way that's easy to read for both humans and computers.
Okay, so not like complicated code or anything.
Nope, it's pretty straightforward. It uses indentation and simple syntax.
So kind of like a digital recipe card for AI Hawk.
Yeah, I like that. It tells AI Hawk exactly what to do and how to do it.
Okay, so we've got our secrets, our job preferences, and our resume all neatly organized. How does AI Hawk take all that and actually create those personalized applications?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. AI Hawk uses a bunch of cool techniques, things like web scraping, natural language processing, and even a little bit of machine learning.
Whoa, that sounds pretty high-tech.
It is, but the good news is you don't need to understand all the technical details to use it.
So it's like AI Hawk is this black box that takes my info and spits out amazing job applications.
Kind of, yeah. But you still have a lot of control over the process. You can tweak the settings, adjust your preferences, and even edit the applications before you hit send.
Okay, that makes me feel better. I was a little worried about giving up control.
No, not at all. AI Hawk is designed to be your partner in the job search, not to replace you entirely. It's all about leveraging the power of AI to free up your time and energy so you can focus on what matters most.
Okay, that's a great way to put it. I'm starting to see AI Hawk as less of a threat and more of an opportunity.
That's the spirit. It's about embracing the possibilities that AI offers.
All right, well, I'm definitely eager to learn more about how to use AI Hawk and see what it can do. But before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, I think it's time to address the ethical elephant in the room. We've talked about all the amazing capabilities of AI Hawk, but is it actually okay to use a tool like this for job applications?
Yeah, that's a super important question. Like with any powerful tool, it all comes down to how you use it.
Okay, so responsible use is key.
Exactly. And the creators of AI Hawk really emphasize that.
So no spamming companies with generic applications or anything like that.
Definitely not. You still have to follow the rules, like respecting the terms of service of those job sites. And you have to remember that AI Hawk is designed to augment your job search efforts, not replace you entirely.
Right, so networking, building relationships, and showcasing your unique skills are still important parts of the process. AI Hawk is not a magic bullet, but it can definitely be a valuable tool for navigating the modern job market.
I totally agree. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Okay, so AI Hawk can help level the playing field for job seekers.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great example of how AI can be used to empower people.
I'm excited to dive deeper into how to use AI Hawk and what it can do. But before we do that, maybe we should unpack those YAML files a bit more. Can you give us a little more detail on what they are and how they work?
Sure. A YAML file is basically just a way to store information in a format that's easy for both humans and computers to read.
Okay, so it's not like complicated code or anything.
No, it's pretty straightforward. It uses indentation and simple syntax.
So kind of like a digital recipe card for AI Hawk.
Exactly. It tells AI Hawk exactly what ingredients to use.
Okay, so we've got our secrets, our job preferences, and our resume, all neatly organized. How does AI Hawk actually take all that and turn it into those personalized job applications?
This is where it gets really interesting. AI Hawk uses a bunch of different techniques, things like web scraping, natural language processing, and even a bit of machine learning.
Whoa, that sounds pretty high-tech.
It is, but the cool thing is you don't need to understand all the technical details to use it.
So it's like AI Hawk is this black box that takes my info and spits out amazing job applications.
In a way, yes, but you still have a lot of control over the process. You can fine-tune the parameters, adjust your preferences, and even review and edit the applications before submitting them.
That's reassuring. I was worried that it might feel like giving up control of my job search entirely.
Not at all. AI Hawk is designed to be your partner in the job search process, not a replacement for you. It's about leveraging the power of AI to free up your time and energy so you can focus on the things that matter most, like building relationships and showcasing your unique skills and experience.
That's a great way to put it. I'm starting to see AI Hawk as less of a threat and more of an opportunity to level up my job search game.
Exactly. It's about embracing the possibilities that AI offers while still retaining control and ownership of your career journey.
Well, I'm definitely eager to learn more about how to use AI Hawk and what it can do. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. We've talked about all the amazing capabilities of AI Hawk, but what about the potential downsides? Is it ethical to use a tool like this for job applications?
That's a valid concern. While AI Hawk itself is just a tool, it's important to use it responsibly and ethically.
So it's like any powerful tool. It can be used for good or for bad.
Exactly. The creators of AI Hawk have emphasized the importance of understanding and complying with the terms of service of any job platforms you're using. It's also crucial to remember that AI Hawk is designed to augment your job search efforts, not replace the human element entirely. Networking, building relationships, and showcasing your unique skills are still essential parts of the process.
It makes sense. So AI Hawk is not a magic bullet, but it can definitely be a valuable tool for navigating the modern job market.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great example of how AI can be used to empower job seekers and level the playing field. It's amazing to think about how AI is changing how we approach job searching. It's not just about making things easier, it's opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
Yeah, it really feels like a game changer. So for someone listening who's ready to jump in and try AI Hawk, what do they need to do to get started?
Well, first off, you'll need to have Python installed on your computer. The docs say they've tested it on both Windows and Ubuntu with different Python versions.
Okay, Python, got it. What else?
AI Hawk uses Google Chrome to do its thing with web pages, so make sure you have the latest version of that. Then it's pretty standard stuff. You clone the repository from GitHub and install the packages they list in the requirements file.
Sounds pretty straightforward so far. Any tricky parts to watch out for?
Hmm. Well, the configuration process might need a bit of extra attention. Remember those YAML files we talked about?
Yeah, the secrets.yaml, config.yaml, and plaintextresume.yaml.
Exactly. Those are super important. The secrets.yaml file is where you put your sensitive info, stuff like your API
Right,
keys.
those are like the keys to the kingdom. Got to keep those safe.
Exactly. Don't share those with anyone.
Oh.
Then you've got the config.yam file. That's where you tell AI Hawk what you're looking for in a job.
So like what kind of job I want, where I want to work, all that.
Yep, you can get really specific. You can say whether you want remote jobs, your experience level, the type of companies you're interested in, locations, all that.
Wow, so no more wasting time on jobs that aren't a good fit.
Exactly. You can even filter out specific companies or job titles if you want. And there's even a way to set a radius for your job search, like how many miles from a certain location, so you can stay local if you want.
That's super helpful. Okay, remind me what the plaintextresume.yaml file is for again.
Right, so that's where you put all your resume info, but in a structured format. It's broken down into sections like personal details, education, work experience, projects, even achievements and certifications.
Okay, and AHawk uses that to create those tailored resumes we talked about.
Exactly. It's all about giving the AI what it needs to do its best work. And don't worry, the documentation has a good example folder to show you how to structure it.
Awesome. So once we have those files set up, how do we actually unleash AI Hawk on the job market? What's that process like?
It's surprisingly simple. Once you've got those configuration files all set, you just open your terminal and run a single command. There are a couple of options depending on how you want to handle your resume.
Oh, that's interesting. So there's more than one way to use it?
Yeah, there are a few ways. If you want AI Hawk to automatically create a new resume for each application using the info in your plaintextresume.yam file, you just run python main.py.
Okay, so that's the like hands-free, let the AI do its thing approach. What if I have a specific PDF resume I want to use for all the applications?
Ah, good question. In that case, you'd put your PDF resume in the data folder and then run python main.py resume path to your resume.pdfs.
Okay, so you have options. That's cool.
Oh, and there's one more cool thing you can do if you just want to collect job data to analyze, like if you're researching job trends or something. You can run AI Hawk with the collect option.
Oh, that's neat. So it's like a research tool too.
Yeah, it can do that. It gathers info from LinkedIn job postings and saves it in a JSON file in the output folder.
Okay, so speaking of the output folder, that's where I'll find all the results of AI Hawk's magic, right?
Exactly. It keeps track of everything, successful applications, failed ones, any calls it made to the language model, even applications it skipped.
So it's like a well-organized filing cabinet for my job search. Now, let's be real, sometimes software can be a bit finicky. What kind of troubleshooting tips do they have in the documentation?
They actually have a whole section on troubleshooting, which is really helpful.
Oh, good, because I'm sure there will be times when things don't go exactly as planned. What kind of things should we be looking out for?
One common thing is hitting those pesky API rate limits.
Ugh, yeah, those can be a pain.
Right. So they recommend checking your billing settings and making sure you have a valid payment method on file. Most APIs have limits on how many requests you can make per minute, especially on the free tier, so you got to be mindful of that.
Okay, good to know. What other troubleshooting tips did you find helpful?
They also talk about situations where AI Hawk might have trouble finding the easy apply button on some platforms.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen before.
Right. It could be because of login issues, incorrect search parameters, or sometimes you just need to give the page a bit more time to load.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, they stress the importance of making sure your LinkedIn profile actually matches the jobs you're applying for. It sounds obvious, but it's easy to forget. And always check the console output for any error messages. Those can be super helpful in figuring out what's going wrong.
Okay, so it's all about checking your configurations, being aware of those API limits, and keeping an eye out for error messages.
Exactly. And if you get really stuck, they encourage people to open an issue on the GitHub repository. Give them all the details about the problem, including the error messages and your configuration files, of course, after you've sanitized any sensitive info.
Right, got to protect those secrets.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you can get help from the community.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about open source projects.
Yeah.
Speaking of community, let's talk about the people behind AI Hawk. Who are the masterminds who brought this awesome tool to life?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Well, the main developer, the creator of AI Hawk, is this guy, Feder PR, but they also shout out over 30 other contributors, which is really cool to see.
That's awesome. It's a real team effort.
It is, and they're very clear that AI Hawk is still in beta, so it's a work in progress. They encourage people to give feedback, suggest improvements, even submit their own code to help make it better.
I love that. It's a real community project.
It is. But it's important to point out that they do include a disclaimer. They say AI Hawk is for educational purposes only.
Right. So don't go using it to like spam every company on LinkedIn or anything.
Exactly. They really stress the importance of following the terms of service of any platforms you use and, not doing anything illegal.
Okay. So use it responsibly.
Right. They specifically mention that using it could impact your accounts on those platforms, so proceed with caution.
Gotcha. So it's a powerful tool for learning and experimenting, but use it wisely.
Exactly. And speaking of learning, let's talk about the documentation and resources they provide.
Oh, yeah, those are important. What kind of support materials do they offer?
They've got a whole documentation section right in the readme file. It has links to setup guides, detailed instructions on editing those YAML files, a guide on how to auto-start AI Hawk when your computer boots up, even a video tutorial on setting up the tool. They even link to the official API documentation for the services they use.
Wow, that's impressive. They've really thought of everything. And you mentioned resources for developers, too.
Oh yeah, they've got that covered as well. There are links to more technical resources for developers who want to really dig into the code. They even have these workflow diagrams to help visualize how everything works.
That's fantastic. It shows how much they care about the community and making this tool accessible to everyone. This has been an incredible deep dive into AI Hawk. We've covered so much ground, from the basic features and how to install it to the configuration details, troubleshooting tips, the amazing community behind it, and of course the importance of using it responsibly. It's mind-blowing to think that a tool like this can actually leverage AI to potentially revolutionize the job search process.
I completely agree. It's been fascinating to explore, and I'm excited to see how AI Hawk continues to develop and shape the future of job searching. Speaking of the future, I think there's one more crucial aspect we need to talk about: the bigger picture of AI in the workplace.
Yeah, let's zoom out a bit. We've gone deep on AI Hawk, but what does the rise of tools like this tell us about the future of work in general? What skills will be most valuable in an AI-driven world?
That's the million-dollar question. It's clear that as AI gets more sophisticated and becomes a bigger part of our work lives, certain tasks will become automated. But that doesn't necessarily mean jobs will disappear. It's more likely that the way we work will change.
So it's not about humans versus robots. It's more like humans and robots working together.
Exactly. I think the skills that will be most valuable in the future are the ones that complement AI, not compete with it. Things like critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence, and the ability to adapt to change.
Those are all things that humans are really good at, things that are hard for AI to replicate. So it's about focusing on what we do best and letting AI enhance those abilities.
Exactly. AI can handle those repetitive, data-heavy tasks, freeing us up to focus on the things that require human intuition and empathy.
I love that perspective. It's not about being afraid of AI. It's about embracing it as a tool to help us work smarter and achieve more.
Absolutely. And I think tools like AI Hawk are a great example of that. They're not meant to replace human job seekers. They're meant to empower them and make the process more efficient and effective.
It's like AI is becoming our trusty sidekick, helping us navigate the complexities of the modern job market.
Exactly. And like any good sidekick, it's important to understand both its strengths and its limitations. We've talked about all the potential benefits of AI Hawk, but it's important to remember that it's just one tool in your job-seeking toolkit.
AI Hawk can open doors and create opportunities, but it's still up to the individual to walk through those doors and make the most of those opportunities.
It's all about finding the right balance between leveraging technology and honing those essential human skills that will always be in demand.
So for our listeners out there who are excited about AI Hawk and want to see what all the fuss is about, what's the best way to get started?
Head straight to the GitHub repository. That's where you'll find all the code, the documentation, and a great community of users and contributors.
And then we'll make sure to include those links in the show notes.
And remember, this is an open source project, so you can not only use AI Hawk, but you can also contribute to its development.
It's a great opportunity to be a part of something that's shaping the future of work. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into AI Hawk, what are your final thoughts for our listeners?
This deep dive into AI Hawk has really been eye-opening. I think the main takeaway for me is that the future of work isn't about AI replacing us, it's about AI augmenting us. It's about finding ways to work with AI, leverage its strengths, and focus on what makes us uniquely human.
It's a powerful reminder that we all need to be lifelong learners, be adaptable, and constantly evolve our skills to thrive in an ever-changing world.
The future of work is full of possibilities, and it's up to each of us to seize those opportunities.
Well said. Exploring AI Hawk has really sparked a lot of interesting thoughts about the relationship between humans and AI in the workplace. It's clear that tools like this are just the beginning of a much larger transformation that's already underway. It really does feel like we're entering a new era of work, and AI is going to be a huge part of that.
Absolutely. It's a time of incredible change and opportunity, and it's so important for all of us, job seekers, employers, everyone, to be a part of shaping what that future looks like.
I love that. It's not about just waiting to see what happens. It's about actively creating the future we want.
Exactly. And tools like AI Hawk can help us do that. They make us rethink how we approach work and what's even possible.
It's like a peek into the future, showing us what we can achieve when we combine human ingenuity with technology.
Right. And it reminds us that we need to be constantly learning, adapting, and evolving our skills to keep up.
So it's not just about learning specific technical skills, it's about having a mindset of adaptability and being open to change.
Yeah, definitely. It's about focusing on those uniquely human skills that will always be valuable no matter how much technology advances. Things like critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence.
Those are the skills that allow us to connect with each other, build relationships, and make a real difference in the world.
Exactly. Those are the skills that will set us apart in a future where AI is doing more and more of the routine tasks.
This deep dive into AI Hawk has been so insightful. It's exciting, a little bit intimidating, but I think ultimately it shows how AI can be a positive force.
I agree. I think AI has the potential to help us solve some of the world's biggest problems and create a better future for everyone.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to say about AI Hawk and what it means for the future of work. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
If I could give one piece of advice to our listeners, it would be this. Stay curious. Be open to new ideas, explore new technologies, and never stop learning. The future is full of possibilities, and it's up to all of us to make it a future we can all be proud of.
Beautifully said. This has been an incredible journey into the world of AI and job searching. We've learned about AI Hawk, a tool that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and we've talked about the bigger implications of AI for the future of work. It's a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
It's been great diving deep with you. I encourage everyone listening to check out the links we've provided, play around with AI Hawk, and share your thoughts with the community. Let's keep this conversation going and explore the amazing possibilities that lie ahead.
And that brings us to the end of another deep dive. We hope you enjoyed this exploration of AI Hawk and all the insights it offered into the ever-evolving world of work. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.